Howdy. Just first like to say, I want to give all thanks to Coach Fisher and what he's done for myself and my family, and just the preparation that he's helped me with to one day be in this position. I want to also thank Ross and everyone in Aggie Nation for just allowing me to be the guy to help with the transition and lead these young men for these next few weeks. And I'm really thankful for that.
Questions? So start down front, Brent.
Elijah, when you meet with the players like you did yesterday, how is that for you, and what do you tell them in that situation as well?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is this. The players are the most important people in the program. And I think the biggest thing is understanding, okay, where they're going through and what are they thinking, okay, and addressing that first. And the biggest thing is this, man, like, this is a brotherhood. And we're going to play for each other. We're going to do everything for each other. Everything should be built off of love and trust. Because when you love somebody, you do what? You sacrifice. And when you trust somebody, you allow them to what? Tell you the truth. You know, so that's the biggest thing for us is the brotherhood and playing for each other.
Second row, David.
David Nuno with Texags. Elijah, can you just take us through the last 24 hours for you, the emotions of your relationship with Coach Fisher, but also the opportunity?
Yeah, so I started off in the morning. Obviously, the news had broke. Again, you never can take what you see on the media for truth until you talk to somebody directly. I had an opportunity to meet with Ross. It was a great meeting. I was welcoming and let me know the situation and asked me to kind of lead this thing as we transition through these next month or so. And I was honored to do that. You know, have an opportunity to meet with the players and just let them know that I'm here for them. The rest of the staff is here for them, and we're going to do what's best for them. And those guys handled it really well. I think the leadership of our team is going to keep this thing going the right way. I think they really enjoyed last week having all those fans in the stadium and the way they played. They enjoyed that, and we're going to try to continue that as we move forward.
How difficult is it for you to imprint the way you want to go through things at the end of a season with just so much time left? And what is going to be your style?
The biggest thing is that I just said that the players are the most important. So we're going to do things that's going to allow those guys to have fun, play with juice and energy, you know, and just understand it's going to be okay. You know, so whatever that is, as a staff, we're going to come together and make sure that we make the adjustments that need to happen for those guys to enjoy this next few weeks and to play as well as possible.
Second row, right, Olin. Then we'll go back behind the lights.
Got to start off with the head football coach questions then. Do you foresee Max being able to play this week? And if so, how do you decide after what Jalen did who will be the starting quarterback?
Well, I'll tell you this. Coach Petrino has a great resume, and I trust and believe in everything he decides to do moving forward with the offense, whether Max is available or not, or Jalen's available or not. I trust that Coach Petrino will do the right thing for these players and for this program to make sure that we're in the best situation to win.
Would you apply for this head coaching position? And the second part of that, if there was a new coach, other coach brought in, would you want to remain here at Texas A&M?
This has been the place I've been the longest outside of my alma mater. And when me and my family moved here, we fell in love with being here. My wife loves it here, my kids loves it here, and so do I. So I'm not looking to leave Texas A&M, and I would love to be here.
Coach, we'll go back behind the lights. First on the right side, Justin, and then Tyler. All right, Cease. Fine. Justin, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, back here behind the lights. I know it's hard to see us back here on TV row. At the end of the day, there is a game to play Saturday. I know it's Monday, but how prepared do you think the guys will be to step on the field at 11 a.m. against ACU?
We have, like I said, we have a unique group of guys, and we have a great leadership crew. And those guys will get them riled up. They'll get them ready to go, and we'll be prepared the same way, and we'll be ready to go on Saturday. I think it starts with practice today, starts from the team meeting, and making those guys understand what's the standard and how we're going to go about things, and they'll be ready on Saturday.
Stay back behind the lights, Tyler, and then Donna right next to him.
Yeah, Elijah, were you surprised at all when Ross approached you and just kind of the way this went down?
You know, you never plan for these situations. You know, you never think about them or plan for these things to happen. So the biggest thing was not being surprised. You know, I think you're surprised anytime that somebody asks you to do such a important job at a great institution like Texas A&M. So I was just more so grateful more than anything. And when he asked me to lead this group of guys, I was excited to do so.
And what was kind of the first thing on your mind that, you know, we got 2 games left in the season and you know, bowl game prepare for after that? What was kind of your first, I guess, order of business in your mind that you had to kind of tackle once you were named interim coach?
Get in front of our players and check on our players and see where they were and make sure that we give them every support they needed for this transition. That was the most important thing.
Staying back behind the lights, Donna on the left.
Right here, Coach.
How you doing?
Can you talk a little bit about the players' reaction when you spoke to them, kind of what your message was and how they're feeling about, you know, your new leadership and taking over the rest of the way?
The biggest thing I tried to do since I got here was not just have a relationship with the defensive line. Try to make sure I had a chance to reach out to every position group and just have a relationship with as many guys as possible. So when we talked to the team and we addressed them about the transition, okay, I thought those guys handled it really well. Those guys embraced me. I think those guys were not just happy about everything that happened, but they understood that what happened happened. And I think they're ready to move forward as far as saying what's next. And that's the mentality they had. Forever grateful for every guy in that room and the way they embraced me after the news broke.
Coach will stay right in front of the lights, Chip Howard.
Coach, you mentioned a couple of things. My guess is you've probably made a pretty long list of priorities and things that you have to do this week. What are a couple of 3 other things near the top of that list?
The biggest thing for us is, first thing I think is the biggest thing, most important thing is spending time with our guys. And not letting those guys be idle by themselves and going through things and finding support for those guys. Then the next thing is reaching out to the parents and making sure the parents understand that through this transition, that I'm pretty sure the coaching staff is going to do everything possible to make sure our guys are in the right space to be prepared to be successful. So really, it's just our players and the parents and giving them some understanding of what's going to happen next.
Down front right, Travis.
Why did you get into coaching? What was the draw of the profession, and how would you describe yourself as a coach?
Okay, so that's a really good question. Did I grow up wanting to be a coach? No, I didn't. I had all my eggs in one basket, just like every other young man that probably come from the single-parent home. My plan was to use football to be a savior to my family. My plan was to go play 3 years, right, and go to the NFL and take care of my family. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and God had different plans for me. I think it first happened with tragedy of just a career-ending injury. And during that process, I was kind of lost what was next for me. And I had a head coach and a position coach that thought highly of me. And when I thought I was going to go take a job in marketing, I got a phone call about coming back and being a GA. Through my process of being a GA, I realized that I was making more of an impact being a coach and being around young men and making them understand that, one day that dream may not come true playing the next level. But there's still other avenues and ways that you can still live your dream, make a living for yourself, make an impact on people's lives, and take care of your family. So I think I got that coaching bug when I got the opportunity. And you say, how do I describe myself? I love recruiting guys with a story. I love making impact in guys' lives, making sure I have a relationship with these guys off the field and on the field, and just pouring into these young men. These guys are looking for leadership roles. They're looking for role models, and I think this is the best way to do it as a coach.
Ross said that he tabbed you because of the relationships you had with the players. Why are the relationships so important to you?
I think it's about being yourself. You look yourself in the mirror every day. You got a choice to make. You remember where you came from and remember who you are and be yourself. And these kids are smart. They understand what's genuine. They understand what's not. And the moment you try to be something that you aren't, I don't think they'll open up to you. If you be yourself with these young men, they'll open up to you. And they'll allow you to pour into their life. And that's what I focus on every day. How can I be an asset to these young men? Because it's not, the blessing is not, hey, I get to coach you. Like, we're blessed to coach these young men. And the moment you understand that's the main thing, that we're blessed to be in their lives, you'll always be successful in this business.
Front left, Cease.
Other than your wife and children, who were a couple of the first people you contacted said, hey, I'm interim coach at A&M?
I didn't contact anyone. The moment the news broke, he hit the ground. And like I said, Ross been a great help to me as we transition. The best thing, like I said, the biggest thing for me was how can I get in front of these players and what do we need to do to make sure we prepare to put these guys in the best situation to be successful. I still haven't returned every text or phone call yet. Outside of my wife, my mother is really important to me, and dear to me, and I didn't talk to her till 11 o'clock at night as I was driving home. And she still had no idea what was going on.
She's not on Twitter, huh?
My mother's not on Twitter.
All right, Rob, second row on the left.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
This is a results-oriented business. But what can you teach these 18 to 22-year-old kids that are on your team about life and how we have stumbling blocks and how it can make them into better men?
If it was easy, everybody would be doing what these young men are doing. If it was easy, a lot of people be in those when we go to this team meeting at 2 o'clock, a lot of people be in those seats. It's not easy. And these guys are constantly being pulled and grabbed from different avenues, things that I didn't have to worry about as a player. They have everything where they can see what people think of them, from social media to family to friends, telling them who they should be and when it should happen. Okay, and it puts our guys, not our guys, but it put a lot of young men in a microwave mindset that it's supposed to happen overnight. I think what this sport does, and in our position as coaches, what we are there for, is to teach these guys to control what they can control, and really put your trust into the guys next to you, and play for each other, believe in each other, and everything will work out. But like I said, these guys are put in a situation where they're supposed to be doing things with a time schedule, and it's not like that. That's not how life goes. You live life one day at a time. You control what you can control, and you steadfast. And that's the biggest thing.
Second row on the right, Olin.
Elijah, are you having to, for lack of a better way to ask it, divide time between preparing this team to play and talking to guys about remaining here? And if so, is that difficult having to find time to do both?
Well, I haven't had any conversations about guys looking to leave. I said the most important thing is what's next, and what's next for us is this team meeting coming at 2 o'clock. All right, having practice later on today and preparing for a team that's looking to come in here and get a win off of us. So controlling the things one day at a time. We haven't had guys come in my office talking about leaving. But if that happens, we'll have the conversations. I think the biggest thing I talked about earlier was the brotherhood. And people are not in a rush to leave a brotherhood when it's real. So the biggest thing is keep pushing to those guys and playing for each other, being there for each other, and we can control what we can control.
Coach will go back in front of the lights. Chip Howard.
Have you talked with Jimbo?
We had text exchanges. Again, it was more so myself just reaching out and telling him thank you for the opportunity he gave me and allowed me to be a part of the staff back in 2018, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity he gave me.
Would you seek any advice from him at this point?
But with Coach Fisher, over the years of being with him, I took notes every day of everything he said. Sitting in staff meetings, or just a very knowledgeable coach, a great person. And I took lots of notes of everything he said.
Coach is a good note taker because it's fast. Back on the right, behind the lights, Justin.
Elijah, from your perspective, over the last 2 years, all the close losses, I think 5 of the 7 last year by less than 1 score, and then, of course, you had Bama and Tennessee this year close, and Ole Miss close. From your perspective, what's missing, as Jimbo would say, in the inches? What's missing, and how do you correct it?
Every day you're fighting for the inches. That's real. And just to show you, we have a group of guys in that room that's trying to do everything possible to get over that inch or to gain that inch. And our job as a staff moving forward is to prepare our guys to get that inch and understand that complementary football, defense playing to the offense, special teams playing for each other. So we're going to do everything possible to make sure our guys can do what's necessary to get that inch.
Time for a couple of more. To the left side, Carter, third row.
Elijah, you guys already have a player announced that he's in the transfer portal, and with it kind of being the open window, I know you said you haven't really talked too much with them about it yet, but what's sort of your, I guess, plan? Are you going to kind of check with each individual player, and what's your sense of just where everyone's kind of at in that regard?
When these guys decided to come to school here, I think it wasn't just about football. They understand what this place can do for them for the rest of their life. And I know one thing we always preach was not a 4-year decision, but a 40-year decision. So I'm just going to encourage those guys that, listen, no matter what the football part of this thing is, think about your life. Because we're going to play this game forever. And one thing they say is Aggies take care of Aggies. And I would not be looking to run out of this place understanding that for the rest of my life I'll be taken care of.
Down front right, Travis.
You mentioned maybe going into marketing there before you got called into coaching. How close were you to taking a job back in that time?
I had no idea what marketing was or what it was about. I had a buddy that just got drafted to the San Francisco 49ers, and he wanted to start a business, and he asked me to come help him do it. So I just knew I needed a job. So that's all I knew about it.
That's great.
Anything to the left, Cease. Then Rob will get you to wrap it up.
So
Coach
when you
does have-
did get into coaching, was there any coach or coaches you modeled yourself after or looked up to and said, hey, I can do it this way or that way?
Like I said, I can go back to Little League, to all the coaches that made an impact on my life. And I stand on their shoulders now, from Little League that was played a father figure for me, to high school, to even in college, and my college coach was Larry Johnson, who was at Ohio State. He was a great mentor of mine. And even from my Little League with Coach Orlando, and high school with Coach McBride and Coach Kevin Ross, who's now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was blessed to be around some really good coaches and great men that poured into my life, not just as a player, but as a person. And I think they made the biggest impact on me.
Second row on the left, Rob, you'll wrap us up.
So, coaches, we've watched you in practice. You're the only coach that I've seen that goes up against 300-pound guys, and you're in the trenches. You're not telling them what to do. They're banging on you and in the pads, and all the players see that too. Has that just created more of a bond? I mean, you talked about family, but them seeing that, man, you're not just coaching them, but you're showing them, and you're living as y'all are going in practices. They're banging on you, and you're taking it to your body every practice. Has that just been something that everyone can see and know that you're not just a coach, but you're part of this team?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm smart by doing that or not, but I know when they know they get a chance to go against me, there's a little bit extra happening on that deal. So I think that's their chance to get back at me, and it does create a good bond. We have fun with it. I pay for it the next day when I wake up. But that's just always been my style of coaching. And until I'm not able to do that anymore, due to whether age or me not being in shape, I'm gonna try to do as much of it as possible.
All right, Coach Robinson, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.